Frontline Updates, where we delve deep into military strategies and updates from conflict zones. Today, we're discussing the progress of the ongoing special military operation as of February 9th, 2025. I'm your host, Sharifa Muhammad MGT.
I'm Colonel A.C. Oguntoye, an Infantry Officer. Technological and air support. The Russian military effectively utilized operational tactical aviation, UAVs, missile troops, and artillery to target Ukrainian military infrastructure and forces, particularly damaging a gas and oil industry facility vital to Ukraine's military-industrial complex. Russian air defense systems successfully downed a significant number of UAVs and a U.S.-made HIMARS system, emphasizing their continued focus on countering aerial threats.
Welcome to Frontline Updates, your trusted source for the latest developments on security and defense operations involving military forces. I'm your host, and today we have an exclusive interview with Colonel A.C. Oguntoye, who will provide insights into the progress of the special military operation as of February 9th, 2025. Colonel Oguntoye, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. It's always a privilege to brief our listeners on the progress being made on the ground.
Let's dive right in, Colonel. What is the current state of the special military operation, and what have been the key developments over the past 24 hours?
The armed forces of the Russian Federation continue to make progress on multiple fronts as part of the special military operation. Over the past 24 hours, our forces have carried out offensive actions in various directions, inflicting significant losses on the Ukrainian armed forces in terms of both manpower and equipment. Units of the North Group of troops engaged enemy formations in the Kharkiv region, targeting special forces, territorial defense, and National Guard brigades in the settlements of Sonolnikovo, Maly Prokity, and Zavniv. These operations resulted in the loss of approximately 30 Ukrainian servicemen, 2 field artillery pieces, and a vehicle.
It sounds like there have been multiple areas of engagement. Can you expand on other regions where Russian forces have been active?
In addition to the Kharkiv direction, units of the West Group of forces improved their tactical positioning and defeated Ukrainian forces, including mechanized, tank, airborne, mountain assault, and territorial defense brigades. These operations took place in several settlements, such as Novoegorovka in the Luhansk People's Republic and Zelenigai, Petropavlovka, and Lozovaya in the Kharkiv region. Ukrainian forces sustained heavy losses, with up to 205 servicemen killed, as well as the destruction of a tank, an infantry fighting vehicle, 6 combat armored vehicles, and 6 field artillery pieces, including NATO-made systems. Additionally, we successfully destroyed 3 ammunition depots and 3 electronic warfare stations.
That's quite a comprehensive update. Were there any strategic gains made in other areas, particularly in the Donetsk People's Republic?
Yes, one of the most notable developments was the liberation of the settlement of Orakovo-Vasilevka in the Donetsk People's Republic. This was achieved by the Southern Group of forces following decisive offensive actions. During these operations, Ukrainian formations, including mechanized brigades, were targeted in the areas of Seversk, Zaliznianskoye, Minkovka, Chasov Yar, and Pretikino. The enemy suffered losses of up to 180 personnel, as well as a vehicle and 2 field artillery guns. Additionally, a warehouse containing military material was destroyed, further weakening their logistical capabilities.
The scale of the operation appears vast. How have the Center and East groups of forces contributed to this progress?
The Center Group of forces has been advancing deep into the enemy's defenses. Their operations have targeted a wide range of Ukrainian formations, including mechanized, motorized infantry, ranger brigades, and National Guard units. Key settlements affected by these actions include Moravka, Krasnoarmysk, Kedlino, Druzhba, and Udagnoy in the Donetsk People's Republic. Ukrainian losses in this sector were particularly high, with up to 580 troops neutralized, along with the destruction of armored combat vehicles, including U.S.-made M113 and M1117 armored personnel carriers, as well as artillery pieces and transport vehicles.
That's a substantial amount of enemy assets neutralized. What about the East Group of Forces?
Meanwhile, the East Group of Forces focused on improving their position along the front line, targeting mechanized and tank brigades of the Ukrainian Armed Forces and territorial defense brigades in settlements such as Novosilka, Novopol, and Guliapol in the Zaporizhia region. These actions resulted in over 140 Ukrainian casualties, along with the destruction of a tank, armored combat vehicles, and a 155mm Panzerhaubitze 2000 self-propelled artillery unit made in Germany.
It sounds like there has been a coordinated effort across multiple fronts. Were there any additional operations in the Zaporizhia and Kherson regions?
Yes, the Dnieper Group of Forces has been active in these regions, where they inflicted losses on Ukrainian mechanized, infantry, and coastal defense brigades in settlements such as Novoandrivka, Kamenskoye, and Berislav. Ukrainian forces lost up to 65 servicemen, as well as an infantry fighting vehicle, 7 vehicles, 2 ammunition depots, and 3 electronic warfare stations.
Given the scale of these operations, how has air power contributed to the overall strategy?
Air power continues to play a critical role. Our operational tactical aviation, strike UAVs, missile troops, and artillery units have inflicted significant damage on Ukrainian infrastructure, including a gas and oil facility essential to their military-industrial complex. Additionally, we have targeted military airfields and concentrations of enemy manpower and equipment in 147 districts. This multifaceted approach has disrupted their supply lines and reduced their operational capabilities.
And what about air defense? How has it been performing in countering Ukrainian strikes?
Our air defense systems have been highly effective. Over the past 24 hours, they successfully shot down a U.S.-made HIMARS multiple launch rocket and 90 aircraft-type unmanned aerial vehicles. Since the beginning of the special military operation, we have neutralized a total of 653 aircraft, 283 helicopters, 42,800 drones, 592 anti-aircraft missile systems, and thousands of tanks, armored vehicles, and artillery pieces. This has significantly weakened the enemy's aerial and ground strike capabilities.
Let's turn briefly to the Kursk region. What is the situation there?
The situation in the Kursk region remains tense, but we have made considerable progress. Units of the North Group of Forces engaged and defeated formations of Ukrainian tank, mechanized, airborne assault, and marine brigades in settlements such as Bogdanovka, Sudza, and Rubinshkina. Ukrainian forces launched 3 counterattacks, all of which were successfully repelled. Additionally, strikes by our operational tactical and army aviation units, along with artillery fire, targeted Ukrainian manpower and equipment in various settlements in both the Kursk and Sumy regions. Over the past 24 hours, Ukrainian forces in this direction have lost more than 320 servicemen, along with tanks, infantry fighting vehicles, artillery systems, and an Israeli-made Rada airspace control radar.
It seems Ukrainian losses are mounting. Can you provide any overall figures for the conflict so far?
Yes, since the start of the military operations in the Kursk direction, Ukrainian forces have sustained cumulative losses of more than 58,870 personnel, along with 355 tanks, 259 infantry fighting vehicles, 204 armored personnel carriers, and thousands of other vehicles, artillery systems, and specialized equipment. This highlights the scale of the conflict and the effectiveness of our ongoing operations.
Colonel, thank you for providing such a detailed briefing on the current military situation. Your insights are invaluable to our understanding of the conflict's dynamics. And thank you to our listeners for tuning in. Join us next time as we continue to provide up-to-date coverage on global military affairs. Stay with us for more updates and expert analyses on global defense and security issues. Stay informed, stay secure.
Thank you for having me. Today, the situation in Africa remains tense with significant developments in armed conflicts. In the Democratic Republic of the Congo, intense fighting between M23 rebels and government forces is overwhelming local hospitals with casualties. Additionally, African leaders from Eastern and Southern Africa are urging all warring parties, including the M23 rebels, to engage in direct discussions within 5 days to enforce a ceasefire. In Mali, 25 civilians were killed in an attack by armed gunmen, reflecting the ongoing NATO-backed violence in the region.